45-year-old man has been jailed for a minimum of 38 years for the murders of two best friends during a machete attack sparked by a case of mistaken identity. Antony Snook, Riley Tolliver, who's 18, and three teenagers aged 15, 16 and 17 were convicted of the murders of the teenagers Max Dixon, who was 16, and Mason Rist, who was 15, the other week. May they both rest in peace. Snook, the getaway driver, was part of the senseless gang who helped chase down and murder Max and Mason seconds after they had popped out to buy pizza in the Bristol suburb of Knowle West on January the 27th. The young boys, who had been friends since nursery, left Mason's house at around 11:15 but were savagely hunted down and killed just moments later. Max and Mason suffered unsurvivable stab wounds and died in hospital, while Snook drove off in his Audi Q2 before the murderers burnt their clothing in an attempt to cover their tracks. Passing sentence at Bristol Crown Court just the other day, Mrs. Justice May told Snook his actions were weak and cowardly as she jailed him to life behind bars with a minimum term of 38 years. Snook had driven Tolliver and the three boys, who cannot be named, to and from Knowle West as parts of a revenge mission. Max and Mason had been wrongly identified as being responsible for bricks being thrown at a house in the rival Hartcliffe district earlier that evening. Around an hour later, after the attack, Snook left the property with two of the boys and picked up the other two in a nearby street before heading to Knowle West. His Audi Q2 was driven around Knowle West for at least 12 minutes before the attack. Snook drove down a road where they saw Mason and Max in the street as they went for a pizza, wrongly believing they had spotted those responsible for the attack. Tolliver, who had a baseball bat, and the three teenagers armed with machetes jumped out of the car and chased after the two boys. Max and Mason were seen going to different sides of the street, each pursued by two people from the vehicle. Tolliver and the 15-year-old boy attacked Mason, while the 16-year-old boy and the 17-year-old boy chased Max. The 17-year-old boy also struck Mason, who was lying injured on the ground as he headed back to the Audi after the attack. A CCTV camera on Mason's nearby house captured how the attack lasted just 33 seconds from the car pulling up to the teenagers getting back in and leaving. Mason and Max sustained fatal stab injuries and both died in hospital in the early hours of January the 28th. Snook, who was a one-legged landscape gardener, drove the teenagers from the scene and dropped them off in Knowle West. A fire was lit in a back garden and items linked to the attack disposed of. Snook was convicted by the jury last week of 2 counts of murder following a 6-week trial. In passing sentence, Mrs. Justice May described Snook's actions as so weak and cowardly and said he could have refused to take part in the posse of armed teenagers to the scene. She told him, "You assisted the armed boys. You knew they were carrying weapons. With knives in their hands and revenge in their minds, a very serious outcome was a certainty. Death was a matter of chance. You were the only adult. There were multiple opportunities for you to stop this madness." The judge added that it was impossible to fathom why he had agreed to drive 4 boys in his car to the area and get a big sentence like he just got. She said the boys you took were then only 14, 15, 16 and 17 years old. The 3 younger ones had long knives. The 17-year-old had a baseball bat. The recovered knives are truly fearsome. You would have experienced the atmosphere in that car, felt the bloodlust. Mason and Max tragically in the wrong place at the wrong time. It took those boys 33 seconds to chase and stab Mason and Max. All of this was captured by the CCTV camera on the front of Mason's home. It is profoundly distressing viewing. Members of Max and Mason's families wept and embraced after the sentence was passed, while Snook remained emotionless. Mrs. Justice May appeared emotional as she described Max Dixon and Mason Rist as 2 good boys from loving homes, and she praised their families for their dignity and grace during the attendance at the 6-week trial. The judge told the court Mason and Max had been best friends for a long time. He said these were 2 good boys from loving homes with their whole lives ahead of them. She described the burning sense of unfairness of the attack on these 2 boys who were walking to get food in their community. The judge said nothing can undo the dreadful events of that night or bring Mason and Max back. Before sentencing was passed, Max and Mason's family read out statements to the court. They had previously revealed how the pair went to nursery, primary and secondary school together and enjoyed playing PlayStation and spending time together. The mother of Max said, "That night was the worst of my life. I will never be the same again." She recalled a car pulling up outside the house and being told her son had been stabbed. She said, "I thought it was a wind-up as I thought my son was in bed." She then screamed and begged people at the hospital to let her see him, but said there were people around stopping me when she didn't manage to see him. She cradled Max's head in her lap and said he briefly opened his eyes. She added he looked up at me as his eyes were closing. He said he just wanted to sleep. When told he had passed away, Mother added, "I screamed and ran out the room and I fell to the floor. I knew life had changed. I had never felt pain like it. I could not say goodbye properly. All I wanted to do was hold him." She said watching the CCTV footage, she just wanted to pull him out of the screen and make him safe. She said, "I'm unable to sleep. I have flashbacks of that time. I blame myself. Could I have done anything different? I was supposed to keep him safe and failed him. He did not deserve to die. Due to your actions, 2 families have been destroyed and there's no justification for that." The mother of Mason said following her son's death, she felt frightened and would never feel safe in her own home again with a murder scene right outside. She said, "As a mother, I failed to protect my son. That is a thought that will stay with me forever." She said she can no longer go into his bedroom as it hits me all over again that he has gone.
Something happened whilst we were in Swindon picking up a phone which the guy stitched me up on. Anyway, as we're coming back down the motorway, the phone rings and this family, apparently a load of Knowle Westers in cars, went to this house, smashed the windows. You probably know, I don't need to say, but yeah, smashed the window, smashed the mother in, which is my friend, with a brick, smashed, cut, chopped her arm up. So we couldn't rush back. I've only got a few gears in my gearbox working at the moment, which obviously test that for myself. So we plodded on back to Bristol. We've pulled up at the house. Someone else is there. They've agreed to take this person to hospital, and then the kids have asked me to take them. So I'm like, no, I'm not getting involved with it. And they're like, "Oh, take us to a safe place to sleep the night because all the windows have been put in." We've then gone in the car, across our cliff roundabout, through Knowle, and then as we come to the Newquay shops, we see a riot van, a Vito van, police van, and they acted all jumpy. At that point I knew something was up, and that wasn't what they were telling me that was going on. So we're rowing in the car now. I've turned round at the post office and come down Ilminster Road to go home, to get on the dual carriageway home. At which point they seem, I don't know, whoever was supposed to put the window through or something, and they jumped out of the car. I spun around and I was planning just to leave them there, like before the car doors would obviously electronic locking on the cars, the new cars, and it automatically does it within, I don't know, 10 seconds I suppose, whatever you drive it. They was in the car before that blocked, which surprised me, you know what I mean? So then, yeah, I just panicked and just drove home, got rid of the kids, and then the police were waiting on the house. I don't know the kids, I have no involvement in it. I don't know what the problem was. I'm only finding this out after, like, when we got to the house. I didn't know none of this was going on. Like, I went fishing in the daytime, minding my business. I went to buy a phone because I broke my phone. Do you know what I mean? This is stuff nothing to do with me whatsoever. I had no, like I said, no knowledge. Like, I wasn't planning to take him anywhere apart from put him to a house that was supposed to be a friend's house so he could stay at night, be safe. Do you know what I mean? The mother was off to hospital. I seen her at Morrison's car park. Okay. I didn't talk to any of them. You know, it was just The only thing that was said was, where the hell am I going? And it was right, left, right, that sort of thing, straight over.
Okay.
And then when I seen the police van, they started acting booky. And then I knew something was up. So I started shouting at them. Literally turned round and come back to go home. And that's when I seen the kids.
So the one saying right, left, and telling you where to go, was that the person in the front, or was that one of the ones in the back?
No, it was one in the back, but I don't know which one it was, or whether it was seven of them. I have no idea.
Were the two or three of them having any conversation between themselves on that journey?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No. It was quiet.
Okay. And how were you feeling?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, obviously just coming through all that shit. And,
Yeah.
just dropping them off to wherever they were going to go and stay for the night, and I'm going home, and deal with my stuff, my dogs, and my life,
So how were you feeling at the time, making that journey with him saying right, left, straight over?
Well, I was getting agitated because I wanted to know where the hell we were going.
Okay. Did you ask where you were going?
Yeah, we just kept getting blank. I was just up there, just up there. Like I said, just when we seen the police van parked on the bloody shops, they acted really strange. Obviously, I knew something was up there. And that was the first telltale sign. And I was like, right, I'm leaping back. I'm going in. So that's what I did. And unfortunately, the kids was in the fucking wrong place. And then, do you know what I mean? They were screaming in the car at me. Stop. And I just fucked it. I didn't have any plan of it. I didn't know any of it. I didn't know they were going to jump out. Didn't know any weapons was in the car. I had no intentions. None of it. I didn't have any idea of it. And I was abused that they put me in that situation. I don't expect their loyalty off of whoever the other kids are that I don't even know.
You okay?
No, obviously not.
But are you okay for us to ask you some more questions? Yeah.
Our family's broken up and destroyed for this, and my life's probably fucked up for that. I don't know what's going to happen.
Detective Superintendent Gary Haskins from Avon and Somerset Police said Max and Mason may still be alive if it was not for Snook's actions. He said Snook was the adult in that situation. He should have taken responsibility and stopped the 4 other defendants from committing such heinous crime. He said we put forward a basis of joint enterprise to the jury, meaning that even those who didn't cause any physical harm to Max or Mason did nothing to deter the others and were even argued to be encouraging their actions. Snook played the role of the facilitator and the getaway driver and drove them around Knowle like a pack on the hunt before turning into the street, and he then saw the attack play out and then drove the boys away from the scene. If it wasn't for him, the boys may well still be alive. So Snook, as we said, he's been jailed. He's got a big sentence, and the 4 teenagers, they're going to be sentenced on December the 16th following a preparation of reports. Once again, I just want to say rest in peace to the victims and my condolences go out to your families.